What's up? Hey, hello, everyone. Wow. So today we are back going to be talking about Survivor South Africa, not season 6 anymore, but we have moved on to Survivor South Africa season 7, Island of Secrets, where today we will be talking about episode 1. So my name is Rachel.
I'm Alyssa, and I liked this first episode. I was a little bit worried because season 6 was like a train wreck. And so I was worried that season 7 was also going to be a train wreck, but this episode seemed to be a pretty solid, like run of the mill premiere episode where like nothing crazy happened, but like we already have our characters and stuff. So I am looking forward to seeing more of this.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I thought it was cool. They're in Samoa for this season. So last time they were in Philippines and now they're in Samoa. So I thought it was cool that they move around and they started with a 3 tribe start. And so they have 21 people, which I feel like US Survivor doesn't really do these 3 tribe starts anymore. And without like a theme kind of thing, like brain, brawn, beauty, okay, HHH, okay, but this is just literally 3 tribes of no theme. And so I thought that was interesting. 7 people per tribe, so 21 is more than typical US seasons, but less than typical Australian seasons, which has like 24 people. So it was interesting to see a 3 tribe start with 21 and not like 18.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that too, just because I feel like it made sometimes with the 18-person starts in a tribe of 6, you can still get really screwed over.
Mm.
And I thought that having 7-person tribes was good because it inspired people, I feel like, to talk strategy more. Like a lot of people were reluctant to start alliances in the first 3 days, which I think is really interesting because when you have a 6-person tribe, you basically need to get an alliance or you're going to be voted out. And that wasn't really the strategy for everyone, it seems, because they have a little more wiggle room on their starting tribe.
Yeah, it seems like 6 people you can seriously be effed over if you're like the odd person out, which like 4 is the majority versus now it's 5 is the majority to make a 7-person tribe. So like if you don't jive well with your 6-person tribe, you're sort of on the outer and then you're like an easy vote out at the beginning. So I did like these 7-person tribes, but with 21 people, it's sort of really difficult to figure out who's who, especially because we haven't done like a cast assessment or we haven't pre-gamed and looked like, oh, who's on this season, what's their job, what's their age, what do they like to do for fun. So just seeing everyone for the first time on the screen with 21 people, I was like, oh my god, I don't know anyone's names, and all the tribes sort of blend together a little bit.
Yeah, especially because I feel like the tribes all have like a scrawny white dude, a buff guy, an older lady, and then a random assortment of like other people. So it's hard to like distinguish the tribes based on like, oh, there's this one person who I know is on this tribe who is visually distinguishable from every other tribe person. So, oh,
Yeah, so the season starts off with 3 boats coming in. I really liked it. They got a lot of confessionals happening and then they come to a beach. And I was thinking, okay, the winner is probably someone who's getting a confessional in this first little segment. So I would be interested because Alyssa and I are unspoiled right now. Come the end of the season, if the winner actually is someone that did get a boat ride confessional, because a bunch of people were getting confessionals, but yeah, I don't know. I don't remember really like those people. Some of them stand out. You know, Jacques, I think he was on sequester, so he's the only person that I know or recognize. But like Letitia seems like she is a main person in the beginning episode. She talks a lot and she was picked to do the challenge kind of thing. Nathan got the first confessional. I wrote that in my notes, but now thinking back, I don't think I could tell you who Nathan was.
yeah, that name doesn't ring any bells. So, yeah, I feel like for me, the only person whose name I confidently remember, wait, there's 2 of them, is Jacques, because I was just so charmed by that like very French sounding name and this like tiny little scrawny dude. And then Tanya, who was like the mom who was pissing everybody off. So
Oh, Okay, yes, that does ring a bell for me, which we'll talk about when we get to like the tribe dynamics. Yes, I do know Tanya. I think, yeah, Jacques is an attractive dude, very skinny. I like that.
I wouldn't call him attractive, but yeah, he's definitely a skinny boy. He's also
Yeah.
married, so
Oh, well, Oh well. So we go into the reward challenge and you get to pick a leader. And so no one obviously wants to be the leader. Everyone is like, yeah, bro, not me. So the leaders all happen to be all men. On the blue tribe, we have Paul. On the yellow tribe, we have Rocco. And then on the purple tribe, we have Cobus.
yeah, Paul was like an older dude. Rocco was a super buff dude. And then Cobus was
He's like a smaller
Cobus?
buff dude. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Rocco's just like really tall. So the leaders come up and then Nico you says like you have to pick the weakest and I was like LOL that sucks because nobody wants to be the leader and then to like alienate yourself like that and then to alienate the weakest person on your tribe and have them potentially like have a grudge against you or feel like a sort of way against you sucks for day one. So the blue tribe, they pick Sepe, and then Rocco picks Letitia, and then Cobus picks Shock.
Yeah, I feel like I think it was Paul who was like, I'm sure that she's like wonderful at puzzles. And I was like, man, just say that you're picking the physically weakest person and then say that they have other strengths rather than just being like, she's good at puzzles when you literally have never met this woman before. Because I feel like if you set your parameters and say, I'm going to choose the weakest person based on like this one trait, then that way they know that it's like, oh, he just thinks I'm physically weak rather than, you know?
In
So,
general, weak. I didn't even
yeah.
think Sepe looks like weak. I thought like, dang, she looks really muscular and strong. I don't know if I would have picked her to be the weakest. I guess, Letitia makes sense because she's the older woman on the tribe, but like, come on. That's the easy thing to say, and then people would get less mad at you probably. And I guess Jacques makes sense because he's like skinnier than the rest of the guys on the tribe, but also, yeah, I don't know. It was interesting choices. I'm not sure if I would have picked the same, but they definitely did pick like the stereotypical first boots or like the stereotypical someone I can throw under the bus and not get a lot of flack for because it was like, oh, a stereotype. They're the older person. They're the weakest looking person. So no one would get mad at them for that, which I guess is smart. So
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where like if you picked a meathead as the weakest person, that would be bad. I also think they didn't know what was happening to the weakest person that they picked, so that's always going to be a struggle.
yeah, I thought the little twist here was really fun. So the leaders, the three, Paul, Rocco, and Cobus, got sent to the Island of Secrets. So I was like, LOL, that really sucks because first off, you had to alienate yourself. You alienated someone on your tribe by calling them the weakest. And then you miss however many hours or days by getting sent to Island of Secrets for like the pivotal bonding time of like the first day of the game. And so I was like, shoot, that really sucks. You're getting sent away on the first day. And those three dudes did have those grievances as well. They didn't necessarily want to go and they were scared they were missing all the good bonding time.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting to put the leaders on the island because I feel like that's so different from something that like US Survivor would do, which would be to put the like weakest players on the
Mm-hmm.
island. So it's like the leaders are already given some status by their tribe, but then they don't have time to cement that status because they're away from the rest of the tribe. So that was I liked that.
Yeah, because usually I feel like, I guess, for stuff like this that we've seen in US Survivor, like Brain Brawn, Beauty, one, like the weakest person just gets like sent back to camp and like they don't have to do the trek or something like that. So I think this was interesting because now the weakest person got to be the leader role of the reward challenge that they go straight into. So the three dudes leave and they don't get to participate in the reward challenge. But now, since the weakest person is like the caller and it's the blindfolded go pick up like items challenge, that they could really show their chops and if they are like good or if they actually are the weakest player. So it's a stressful situation, I feel like, if you were just called out as the weakest, but now you have to prove yourself by being the leader in this challenge and being the caller.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where some of them definitely did prove that they were kind of weak because they couldn't keep up. And so that's got to be a yikes because being told you're the weakest and then being put in the hero position, like no one wants to be the hero position. And there's even more stress to perform well because you were labeled the weakest.
Yeah, especially like 20 minutes into this game. And then, especially if you don't like prove yourself in this challenge, people are probably already thinking in the back of their minds, like, okay, you're about to be the first boot. Like, sorry, but that's an easy thing to pin on the person if they've already been alienated like that. So it is probably super stressful, especially if you didn't do well as the caller role. 5 minutes, they only had that much time in order to like go blindfolded, pick up things like rice or sticks blindfolded. So I was really scared that someone was going to get hurt because I see US Survivor, like the challenge is so scary because people run into things, hit their crotch, like gonna have their leg broken like Spencer almost had. So I was glad no one got hurt. I thought it was really interesting. We see Jacques see something super far in the back, and there's only one of those things, versus like there's a set of 3 rice bags for every tribe to grab one. And so he sends his people out there thinking, okay, maybe it's an advantage or something. And then his people bring it back, and then he gets the advantage, he hides it, and he throws the bag away, which I thought was really cool. A good showing for Jacques, especially after being deemed the weakest. Now he has some kind of advantage, but I do wonder if like the team, they know that, okay, I went out and back and I brought 2 things back, and you went out and back and you brought 1 thing back. Why don't we have 3 things total? And if people could do the math and be like, yo, where did one of our things go?
Yeah, I think that that might be assuming too much about people remembering the challenge just because in a super high stress situation like that, I don't think you're thinking to yourself, oh, I brought 2 things back and the other team brought 1 thing back. I
Yeah.
think it's kind of like, wow, that was really high stress and scary. I'm glad it's over now. So good on Jacques though for like seeing the one thing and like sussing out that it was important because I'm not sure I would have been able to do that.
Yeah, like you were saying with a high stress situation, everyone else, they're like, okay, I see rice, I see bamboo, let's go and get that. I thought it was funny, the yellow rice bag, the yellow tribe's rice bag broke on like the pulleys to go up. So, like, then you don't get the prize because the rice is all over the ground. So I was like, yo, that feels bad. And people were fighting over the bags of goodies. It was sort of funny. I was like, someone is gonna like punch someone else, but that would be good TV.
It would be good TV, but I'm also pretty sure that it would be bad for because you're not allowed to assault another contestant, or at least in U.S. Survivor, you're not. So I can't imagine why they wouldn't have that rule in South Africa. So I
Yeah,
don't think they'd put them in situations where they could accidentally or purposefully punch another contestant.
yeah, I mean, they did let that one duo just walk straight off the course. It looked like they were gonna go into the ocean. They were just like walking way off base. I don't know. I feel like maybe you would notice that the voices are getting like quieter and quieter, or the camera people would like, yo, you have to turn around. But they were gonna go swimming.
Yeah, it's like God, what season was it when Jeff was narrating? Crystal is off the course, and then she steps in, and Crystal is back on the course. Like I feel like Nico at that point should have been like, "Guys, come back," just because I feel like as a caller, it's hard because you're juggling like 3 different pairs of people. So
Yeah, so with this challenge, I would say Sepe did the best for her tribe, and then Jacques second, and Jacques got the advantage. And then I think Letitia did the worst. They got like 2 things.
yeah, and yeah, like I said, it's hard because you're automatically thrown into this position you didn't want, and maybe like she just doesn't have a loud voice. Maybe she would have known that she would not be good at this position, but yeah, they did decently though. It seems like I was glad that everyone got something because it's always so like sad to see them just be miserable at camp because they don't have anything.
Yeah, so we go into the Island of Secrets segment. I was intrigued to see if it would be like Island of the Idols or like I guess Ghost Island even, any of those island themes that we have in the US Survivor. So it was sort of different, I guess. So three people go and they have the choice of a hidden immunity idol clue or bringing Flint back for the tribe. And so I feel like you would take the idol, I guess, but we see someone who does it very well because I think they would think you're lying either way, even if you brought the Flint back, because they're probably going to think something else was there. Maybe you gave up potatoes for like a hidden immunity idol clue. So we see Rocco choose the Flint, so he's a good dude. Cobus and Paul both take the hidden immunity idol clue. And I was thinking, okay, since there are three people here, I guess, wouldn't you want to coordinate your stories and then you could, I don't know, I just think it'd be so easy to cross check. And obviously, since they didn't coordinate their stories, some people are going to get ratted out as having the idol clue. So now they're deemed sketchy in the other tribe's eyes. So I think maybe that's too much because it's like day one and you just go to this island with three random people. But it just seems odd that you wouldn't try to coordinate your stories. But I guess for Rocco, who chose the Flint, it makes the most sense for him to rat out the other two as getting the idol. So it.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those things where it would be really easy to coordinate your stories, but then also only, I think, who is the one? I think Cobus, because Paul went back and he gave the immunity idol clue like to his tribe as a whole, and so he's not going to get ratted out. Rocco brought the Flint back, and so as far as everyone else knows, including the other two people who went to the Island of Secrets with him, he only has the Flint because he looked at the idol clue when the other people were off doing something. And so he looked at the idol clue, but he is not physically in possession of it. So he's also safe.
Yeah,
So
so
really
that's why.
only one of them can get screwed.
Yeah, I think like Rocco is in the best position. Maybe that's the smartest thing to do because he chose the Flint, so he's gonna look like a good guy for the rest of his tribe. But Paul leaves the clue in the back pocket of his jeans when he like goes for a swim or like walks off, and I'm like, oh my gosh, rookie mistake there. But I was thinking maybe the clues would all be different, but they all seem to say the same thing. So Rocco gets to look at it. He has the clue and he can use that to his advantage and find the idol and like gain trust with people, which we see later doesn't really work because he's a little bit too strong. But like choosing the Flint, but also getting the reward of having the idol clue, like that is so. I was like, dang, that is a really good move for Rocco if he can pull that off. So yeah, I think the person Cobus, I guess, would be the only person who does get shat on if like a tribe swap happens or if other people go to Island of Secrets and they realize what the choices are and that Cobus didn't bring back anything. And now like every other person, so like what? 16, 17 other people and all the other tribes know it was a choice between Flint and a hidden immunity idol clue. Like the word will spread, but maybe people won't think about it because like, okay, 3 days happens, a lot happens in 3 days, people probably forget.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the things also where maybe by then he'll have a solid alliance and then he'll come clean with them. Like, hey, I have this clue. I didn't want to tell you about it earlier just because I wanted to make sure we were solid first. So maybe it won't matter, like you said, by the time that the word gets around.
Yeah, so after Island of Secrets, we go into the Purple Tribe, and this tribe is just so weird. This is Copus's tribe. So we see the older lady in Tanya saying, she just has a whole like multiple segments of the Tanya show. The first thing we see is her saying 28 is too young to get married because one of the other women on the tribe got married, and then another woman
Jacques
on the
was the one who got married at 28. Jacques
really
got married at 28, yeah, and then the other lady got married at
at
22
22.
and
Yeah,
has
yeah.
3 kids now. So like,
So yeah, Tanya just seemed very judgmental at that point, and I was like, okay, that's interesting that I guess it seems like, okay, day one, you're on the tribe, that you would say that. And she's like, oh, I'm 51, but I look young because of marijuana. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's an interesting person.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as she mentioned I look young because of pot, I was like, whoa. Because at first I thought it was just like, okay, maybe she's a little more conservative, telling her kids not to get married until 30, like, whatever. But, and then she had a ton of like wild stories about like how her dad was a car thief or something. And wild.
I wrote in my notes, I think Tanya is like the new Debbie because she just was like talking at night. It seems like she talks a lot and nobody really cares about her stories, or they think they're all fake. Tanya's plans are just really weird. So we see Tanya saying that she wants to vote out a woman when she's with the girls, but then she like tries like she wants a woman's alliance, right? And she brings in Ting Ting and Meryl, and then she takes Ting Ting off to the side and is like, yo, Meryl is weak. We don't actually want her in the alliance. But like, I don't know. It's just so weird, the like progression of how things happened. And even Ting Ting was like, WTF. Like the game just started. And so Ting Ting says she doesn't want to be with Tanya in the alliance. Tanya tries to make more weird plans, but I don't know if they'll work because Tanya is saying that she's the strongest woman on the tribe and she wants to go with the guys and bring Ting Ting in, and then they'll vote Meryl, the other girl on the tribe, off.
Yeah, that just, I really don't understand her, like, at all. Just, it seems like she kept talking about how she has like 5 different plans, and the common denominator between all her plans is herself.
Yeah.
And I just didn't understand any of her plans. So I guess good for her if these plans actually work.
She's just so interesting. Like Cobus comes back, Tanya talks to Cobus, and she like when Cobus first steps on the beach, Tanya has a confessional. Like, yeah, me and Cobus communicated without words, so we just know we have like a sense, and we're just gonna talk because we communicated without words when Cobus just came back. And so Tanya, we see her breaking it down for Dante and Cobus, and then Cobus has a confessional saying that Tanya is just wacky, like she doesn't have any influence. And then Tanya says, okay, Dante isn't on board. I can see that, but I'm covered because I have Meryl, the other girl that she wanted to vote out because Meryl was weaker than herself and Ting Ting. And I'm like, yeah, what the heck is happening?
Yeah, so I just got very confused by all of that. And I really hope that they never go to tribal, because then it's going to just be a string of confessionals where Tanya is like telling us which one of her plans she is currently planning to go with. And I can't deal with that emotionally. I'm not ready.
She's so funny though. It's just so interesting to see what plan she comes up with. I really thought Purple was going to go to tribal council because Tanya was getting a lot of screen time. I was really thinking like they were trying to mooch her for her like interestingness throughout this episode, and she was about to be the first to boot.
Yeah, I thought that was going to happen too. And I'm glad that it didn't, just because I think I find Tanya less annoying than Debbie, but I also think Debbie's seasons wouldn't have been as interesting if she was voted out first. So I think,
Tanya has entertainment factor. I
yeah,
agree.
the longer she's around, the more entertained we can be.
Yeah, I agree. And so with the Purple Tribe, also we see Jacques check out his clue. And so the clue, I don't know, the advantage is sort of crappy. I think it's for the first tribal council of the merge. And so I was like, okay, if it's for the merge, then you can't even use it until then. I guess it could be interesting how you leverage it. Like maybe you can make an alliance, like, okay, I have this safety or whatever at merge. Let's just get there, we can keep each other safe. Or maybe you can lie and say that you got some kind of other advantage at the reward challenge and say like it's a clue for a hidden immunity idol, or it is safety right now, because if you don't make it to merge, then it's sort of useless.
Yeah, I think that's hard too, because it's assuming you're making it to merge, and then also I just feel like most advantages are useless when they're so far out. Because I think it's one thing to have an advantage that would like I think it would be cooler if it was an advantage that like expired at the merge.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Like you
It's
said, I think it's probably going to be interesting to see just how it's leveraged.
mhm.
So,
Yeah, it seems like Jacques, if since he found the clue at the first challenge, seems like he's got some brains to maybe work it as leverage. But yeah, having like the time that you can use the advantage being the merge, that's like halfway through the game. And so chances are you could get swap screwed or voted out by then, and then you just have this useless thing. But I think if you are playing the game well, I think you could leverage it in a way, or like show someone the piece of paper, or change it, or just lie about what the piece of paper says and try to gain trust or F people over.
I enjoy the effing people over. So, yeah.
I love the drama.
Yeah, I hope that he's smart enough to play it well or leverage it well, just because I always hate to see advantages go to waste.
Mm-hmm. So we go into the blue tribe and we see Sepe. She is a biker queen as her job title. She seems like super cool, super fun, but her first scenes, she is coming off as bossy, and other people are noticing and saying in their confessionals that they think Sepe's bossy.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because she was like, I wouldn't say I'm bossy, but I'm definitely in the driver's seat. And then literally the next clip is several people calling her bossy. So, yikes.
At least she realizes it, I guess. I think like with there's 6 people on the tribe right now because the other person, the 7th person, is off at Island of Secrets. And so, like Alyssa and I were talking about at the beginning of this podcast, 6 people, we see in the next scene 4 people standing right there. And they were like, okay, quick and easy as this. The 4 of us are in an alliance, and Leanne and Sepe are the 2 people on the outsides. So Sepe sees it, and she has a confessional saying like, okay, the strong 4, as in those other 4 people, are deciding our fate. So it seems like Sepe does have like good intuition. She realizes that she's bossy, and she sees that the 4 strong people are getting together and they made some kind of deal. I just feel so sad because Leanne and like knows the other model girl on the tribe, but Leanne didn't win the beauty pageant, and so that's just so awkward. But it's such an interesting
I thought
storyline.
Leanne did win.
I think Leanne was the loser, and then the other girl was the winner.
Are you sure? I thought that Leanne was the winner.
Leanne is the one that got voted out.
I know, but I'm pretty sure that she was the one who won. I'm Googling it now.
Yeah, because I think her whole thing was like, oh, I'm so awkward. This other girl is so pretty. Like, I've always been in her shadow, and that's why she didn't talk to them at the beginning and sort of didn't get those connections because she was awkward.
Okay, I'm looking at Miss South Africa winners.
Yeah. It was what, 2018 was the other girl, but
I don't recognize any of these names.
let us know in the chat. I say Leanne was the loser, and Alyssa says Leanne was the winner of Miss South Africa. I think they were 2018, but the little title things go away so quick, it's sort of hard to read.
Yeah. So I don't want to like push too far because Leanne was the first boot, but I'm worried that if I Google the second girl's name, it'll show me
Her
what
placement.
position she places in Survivor South Africa. So I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, we'll see it probably in episode 2. I guess the other girl will probably have a confessional, but I thought that storyline was so interesting because like they know of each other, but they don't really know each other because they only know each other from like the pageantry world. So I just wish we could have seen more of it play out.
Yeah, I wish that too, just because I know that like Dance Moms is not reflective of like actual like dance competitions, and so I'm sure whatever like modeling shows there aren't actually reflective of the real modeling world. But it would just be, I love some cattiness. I like a little bit of manufactured drama in my reality television. So
Yeah, so if Leanne was the loser of the pageant and the other one is the winner, like Leanne still doesn't get her coming of age story. Like that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see like the ugly duckling come to fruition and then she's the one that votes the winner girl out, but the winner girl strikes again and Leanne gets voted out.
yes, sad. Okay, so I found it, and you were right. Leanne was the loser. So yeah, that would have been a cool story. Like, I lost Miss South Africa, but I won Survivor.
Suck it, other girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Their interactions were weird because it seems like Leanne was like insecure with their relationship together. Like she goes up to the other girl and is like, "Oh, I knew from the first time I saw you that you would win Miss South Africa." And so it's just little things like that. It seemed very off, but that's like the drama we want to see.
Yeah. So I guess there were more important things to do just because since Leanne did get voted out, I feel like it would have been like a waste of screen time to make it too much. But
Yeah, so we see Paul come back, and Paul tells them the truth about what happened at the island, which is not good for Cobus because Cobus is the only one who didn't tell everyone else the truth, and Cobus has the hidden immunity idol clue, but Paul tells everyone else about the idol clue, which I'm not a fan of the whole tribe idol thing. Like, it never really is a tribe idol. You're just letting everyone know your cards. And so the Power Four bring Paul into the group. So Paul becomes the fifth.
yeah, and then that leaves two people on the outside, which I think is going to be a little bit sketchy because it's like when tribes of seven with two people on the outside, that means you have to like let them both make their case. But then also, if you go to tribal more than twice, you're kind of screwed. So
Yeah, and I guess I know their tribe lost the first immunity challenge, but they seem like they have strong people, so I don't know if they would lose the next one, especially with Leanne leaving. I feel like Leanne was probably one of the weaker ones on the tribe, and so we'll see next time though.
the thing is, sometimes stuff like that happens, and then it's like you think you're getting rid of the weakest link, but it isn't actually a problem of physical strength. It's a
Mm.
problem of like being able to communicate with each other or stuff like that. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, and maybe Leanne was great at puzzles. We don't really know.
We don't know anything about her.
So going into the yellow tribe, we see that they all seem to have good vibes together. They're laughing at the shelter. Jeffrey says Letitia is probably on the chopping block, so there's no point to form an alliance with her. And I just like that's so funny, but like honestly, that bluntness is 100% correct. I think Leanne saw it with like Sepe as a sinking ship on the blue tribe. Like, yo, I need to go into the core four group and like become friends with them. So, I mean, it makes sense for Jeffrey, but also like, I don't know.
Yeah, it just seemed kind of mean too to assume that someone was going to be the first out because then it's like, of course they're going to be the first out if no one wants to be in alliance with them because everyone assumes they're going to be the first out. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, I guess.
Yeah, which is because of the Island of Secrets, and Letitia was deemed the weakest, and then Letitia didn't perform well at the challenge. But I think Letitia does have some good things going for her. We see that she's smart and she's checking the well for an advantage or looking for a clue or something. So she's not just going to like lay down and die, which I like. So hopefully she can do some stuff and she's not actually on the bottom, which it doesn't seem like she's actually on the bottom once we see Rocco come back.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she's actually on the bottom. So I hope that next week she can start building some alliances so that she can like actually pull herself up.
Yeah, so we see Rocco comes back, he brings the flint, and then he tells like random people on the tribe that he also knows the immunity idol clue, which I was like, okay, that's sort of odd because you just met these people. You're not even going to feel it out for like a day or 2 days, or just like keep it to yourself and wait until you found the idol rather than telling everyone else the clue. So it just, I don't know. He tells the clue to the other boys, and then it just seems so early because they all just met. And similar for the guys that he's telling, they're saying, oh, it's too soon for alliances. This doesn't mean we have a relationship. It seems early to like spill that to us, which is like, yes, that's true, but also like, take that information. And so the other guys he says the clue to, they say in a confessional that they would rather have not Rocco in their alliance and then bring some girls into it and not just have an all boys alliance.
Yeah, I just feel like it's so weird to like Rocco just I don't understand what his strategy is because I thought he was smart when he was like, "Oh, I'll look at the clue without actually having picked the clue." And then he just went off the wall. Like it's not even like he did what Paul did and he like told everyone like, "Hey, this is what happened." Just all you do when you give people information is you give them leverage, and he just gave random ass people leverage over him.
I agree, right? It just seems so odd because it's like day two. You just met these people after you were isolated on the other island, and you're giving them ammunition to like vote you out because you told two or three. It's not like you're Paul and you told everyone. So everyone has the same story, and it's not like you favored some people over the other. But now the guys that he told can come back and tell the girls like, Rocco told me this, he's not telling you that, let's vote him out because he's sketchy. But Rocco, yeah, he had such good stock at the beginning when he took Paul's clue and memorized it. But then he comes back to camp and now he's like probably top of the list for the chopping block. What could save him would be that he is super buff looking. But yeah, I don't know. He just like, I don't know. That wasn't a good play, I feel like. But I think it's so cute when Rocco says multiple times, like when the poo poo hits the fan. I just thought that was so funny.
Yeah, I thought it was funny too, just the way he approaches the game is so strange. Like, I think he's one of those people who's going to be like a Joe Anglem type where people are just going to vote him out as soon as he like stops being useful. So,
Yeah, so we go into the immunity challenge. This is a cool challenge, I think. It has a really cool puzzle at the end, and I feel like maybe I've seen this as a child. Like it seems like something that you could memorize before going out there because it's like a hard as heck puzzle, or like at the beginning when the puzzle is all like set up correctly, you could take some time to memorize it before you go for the swim to reset it up at the end, but it seems like everyone is too stressed out to do that. But like the puzzle took longer than 30 minutes. So taking time at the beginning to memorize it wouldn't have been too much off your back. But yeah, I think in the heat of the moment, everyone would not be standing around there for 5 minutes while everyone else is already swimming in.
yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where also there's a way to distribute the work because there's 7 of you. And so it's like you each only have to memorize 1/7 of the puzzle. But like you said, it seemed like things weren't really people weren't thinking clearly, and I get it too because they didn't know, I think, how difficult the puzzle would be. And so it was one of those things where like if the puzzle had been something that would have just been easy to do, you would have wasted time trying to memorize it. But
Yeah, I think once you take like the top two pieces off and realize that every single piece looks the exact same, I was looking, I'm like, all of these are so indistinguishable. It's like very confusing. But even like, okay, person one takes two pieces, your two pieces on the are on the top. So, or like bottom if you flip it over, since it was like a cube kind of shape. But like, if you're the person who takes the top pieces, don't try to put your pieces when we're like building the middle section. So I think some kind of strategy like that would have been really cool to implement. But yeah, I think in the heat of the moment, you're not spending time to memorize it, even if it would have good payoffs at the end.
yeah, but maybe it's one of those things where next time they do a puzzle, they'll actually think that,
Yeah.
like, look at it.
It only sucks if you're last place. So we see purple get first, yellow get second, and blue get last place. So sucks for blue tribe, which blue tribe is the Sepe, Leanne, and then the core 4/5 people. So they go back to camp, and then Nate jumps on Coral. And then they give him the idol so that he's safe. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I don't know. It's just so interesting because you would think, okay, Nate is injured. We would vote him out because it's day one. We can't bring like the injured person around. But I guess it's similar to like heroes versus villains when you have James being injured. Like you would rather keep that injured person because Nate is in the core 5 group. So like, I don't know. But then giving him the idol to keep him safe, that shows that like Leanne and Sepe are obviously on the outs.
Yeah, I feel like they should have been a little less transparent about the fact that they were a 5-some, but
yeah, so like that's why like Leanne gets voted out. I really hope that Sepe can make it to a tribe swap, and hopefully maybe a tribe swap happens in like 2 to 3 episodes, and then Sepe could like blow up every one of the core 5's game, because I think Sepe seems like the kind of person that wouldn't just like lay down and die, but she would try to fight and try to stay in the game. But yeah, sucks for Leanne because Steffi, the other model girl, is asking, why didn't you come to me sooner? And then Leanne has to go into her story, and it just seems probably like it brings up bad memories for Leanne, being like isolated and then being the first boot, but also being the first boot by the girl that you lost the pageant to. So it just seems sort of rough for Leanne.
yeah, and I also feel like it was kind of unfair to be like, oh, you should have come to us earlier. Like, it's not like she's coming to you an hour before tribal. But
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Tribal Council, it was fine, but there was whispering at Tribal. And so the Core Alliance was sitting in the back seats. So like they could chat and whisper, and like they were like, oh, are we switching the vote? Are we staying the same? And they like were visibly talking through that. But Sepe and Leanne were both sitting in like the front stumps. So they couldn't see any of that happening. So I think it just goes to show that like Tribal Council seating does matter, because the whole main alliance was able to strategize and whisper while like Sepe and Leanne were sitting or they were answering a question. So I don't know. I didn't like that part of it.
I did like that they subtitled what the main alliance was saying, though.
So we see Leanne being voted out. Sucks because I wanted that beauty queen drama. That would have been a really cool storyline. Sucks for Leanne that she lost again after saying how hurt she was losing the pageant to Nicole. Yeah, Steffi's another girl on that tribe. And so I don't know. I feel like Leanne seemed like she had passion to be there, so it sort of sucks that she was the first boot given her backstory.
Yeah. I felt bad for her. That tribe, I feel like I don't like them, but I don't have any reason why I don't like them. So
we're rooting for the underdogs, I guess.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm very, very interested to see where this goes, because I think episode 1, the premiere for season 7, was really good. We have some really cool characters and a lot of things set up. And so I would be interested in seeing where this goes, because I think a lot of drama can happen and hopefully some good vote outs.
Yeah. So, Rachel, when we watched Survivor South Africa season 6, we both picked a winner pick based on the first episode. So, who do you think is going to be winning season 7?
Oh my god, I should have prepared for this because I don't remember anyone. So yeah, Alyssa was correct with her Tom pick last time.
Yeah, but I was correct for all the wrong reasons. So
yeah, I really don't know anyone really that like stood out, and not Tanya, who's probably going to get voted out before the finale. So I guess I would say Jacques, but I think that seems a little too presumptuous, considering that's the only person that I actually like know on this season. But he did get the advantage, and I think he's intelligent, but also I feel like he has to make it far because he played on Sequester, so that might be bad to base it off of. And then that means he's probably not a winner because I don't think he was targeted on Sequester because he was a winner. Because there were winners on that Sequester game.
I'm going to pick someone for perhaps the dumbest reason. So there's someone on this season named Rob. And I feel like, yeah.
What's that?
I think he's one of the buff guys. Yeah, I think so.
Which tribe is he on?
Listen, I'm just proud of myself for remembering his name. But anyways, there's a guy named Rob, and I feel like classically on US Survivor, guys named Rob do well. So that's my pick.
Okay, you got Rob Sesternino and Boston Rob.
Yeah, and I feel like there was another Survivor Rob who did well. It's fine, though.
Episode 2, I will figure out who Rob is because hopefully Rob will get a confessional with their name on the bottom.
Yeah, I hope so too. And hopefully Rob doesn't get booted next episode because that would be awkward. So is Jacques your official answer, or did you want to give a different answer?
Everyone in my notes are all the people that did bad things, so I feel like they're not going to win unless like Sepe has a like really big turnaround and then comes out on top. But I really don't see Tanya winning. What, Rocco? I don't see Rocco winning. So I'll stick with Jacques, even though it's probably not going to happen. But yeah, he's smart.
Nice. So you say Jacques, I say Rob. I wonder if Survivor South Africa has the same bias with more men winning than women. I would like to look that up, but I can't do that if we're planning on watching more Survivor South Africa unspoiled. So
after you watch all 7 seasons, I guess, but also people say that seasons 1 through 5 aren't as good and season 6 and season 7 are better.
Okay, so maybe after I finish this season, I'll just look and see the rest. So
yeah, so this was our premiere recap for Survivor South Africa Season 7, Island of Secrets. Definitely let us know in the comments down below what you thought of this season of Survivor or what you also thought about the premiere episode. Alyssa and I are trying to remain unspoiled, which didn't happen for Survivor South Africa Season 6 when we spoiled ourselves into seeing Tom and John, or the final 2. And so that was a super sad day. So we would like to remain unspoiled so we can enjoy Survivor and all of the pleasures, because it was said that Survivor isn't going to be filming in the fall now to release a season in the spring of 2021. So the next time we might have live Survivor in the US would be fall of 2021. So a whole year from now, which is wild.
Yeah, which means we have a lot of other Survivors that we can maybe watch or rewatch. So, yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you guys are watching along with us, let us know who your winner pick is for Survivor South Africa Season 7. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week with more episodes.